Hey, Jake Meeking here. Let's talk about the modes. No one wants to talk about the modes. Everyone's scared of the modes. But what are the modes and how do we use them and why do we need them? I'm going to try and break it all down for you today and probably spend maybe just 2 minutes on each individual mode. We'll lay them out, we'll play them in a particular key, and I think I'm going to really push for how they're really important for your overall knowledge and theory of the neck, your chords, arpeggios and other scales, and how to alter the scales and modes that we use. But first off, if you're scared of the modes because you think they're hard and they're difficult to understand, you're absolutely right. At first they are, so let's just make that clear. It takes a little bit of work, but once you get them, it unlocks so much potential on the neck of your guitar for your improvising and writing, and also for your listening and how you interpret other people's music. They're so important. Think of it like this, it's 7 scales. 7 scales coming from one scale, your major scale. Major scale is key, that's where everything comes from. So on this channel, I've done some major scale essentials before this video, which hopefully set the basis for what we need for today. So take a look back at those if you need to, but let's remember one thing. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. If we start on any neck, or any note on the neck of our guitar, and we go tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, we're going to create a major scale. We don't like to play up the necks like this all the time, so we group it into shapes. We can play it over 2 octaves. That's my G major scale over 2 octaves. We're going to work in G today. All our modes that we're going to use are going to be over 2 octaves because we can really use those shapes for improvisation then. And I'm going to try and connect them all and show you how you probably know a lot more than you already do. Okay, so we're going to jump straight in with mode number 1, our major scale. What does it look like? Why do we need it? How do we use it? Okay, we're playing in the key of G. We're going to start with our second finger on fret 3. On our low E string, that gives us our G. If we use our tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, we get this shape here. I've always worked like this, where we use fingers 1, 2, 3 and 4. Starting on finger 2, I can give you a finger template. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And again, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. With the second octave, starting now on string 3, I'm going to go 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. Let's have that whole thing nice and slow. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. Those are the notes involved in our G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and back to our G. Then what we're going to be doing is taking that scale, laying it out across the neck, and from each note of that major scale, starting a new scale from that point. Okay? Why do we do this? Because if I want to vary up my playing over different chords within a key, I don't want to be just improvising or writing from one position on my neck. You can, but it might sound a little bit dull or unimaginative in certain ways. So we start to play the scale from different degrees of the scale. So why do we not just stay in one zone then? I could go like this, G major, start from the second note of my major scale, my A, and it creates Dorian mode, and I could go through the same shape, add that extra note, etc. But what's the point? I'm still playing in that same zone. So let's shift things up. Let's take that globe and unravel it like a map to make it across here so we can find our way around. Okay, that's the way I've always thought about it. So number 1, major scale. We've just run through that. If I play my major chord with that, sounds about right. It's completely standard. And let's not discount the power of that major scale and how we can improvise with that. Everything's going to connect. Chord 1, scale 1, everything's going to just connect beautifully. All right. So let's go up to our second degree of our scale and play our Dorian mode. So this will be from A. That's the second note in the key of G. And from here, we get a minor scale that we call the Dorian mode. So I'm calling it a minor scale because if I run through the notes of my G major scale from A, I have a minor third relative to my new root note, which is my A. So it's a minor scale, but it's a minor scale and I have a major 6 in there. real characteristic of this Dorian mode. It's a minor scale, but it's got this major 6 involved in it. Opens up nice chord structures later on when we dive a little deeper into it. But say I have a sequence now in the key of G where I'm going chord 2 to chord 1. Happens a lot, it's a nice easy resolve. Over chord 2 there. What I'm trying to work around there the most is that nice major 6 note in there. And resolve back to my home chord there. So let's go through that Dorian mode. Starting on A on fret 5 there. I have my first finger, and my pattern here is going to be 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Now for our normal minor scale, if you guys are aware of this, we'll be playing this flat 6 here. But that's where our major 6 is going to come in. On our D string on fret 4, so fingering 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Coming out of my zone, 1, 2, 4. Repeat this line, 1, 2, 4. Back into zone, 1, 3, 4, 1 to take me to my A there. I'm going to run through that slowly again with the fingering pattern. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Coming out of zone. Coming down the semitone there. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. Back in zone. Run the scale on its whole. So 2 octaves here, run together. Those notes again are going to connect to chord 2 in that mode, in that major scale, perfectly. No reason why you can't mix them together. It's fantastic. So, what have we got? Our major scale, G major. From the 2nd degree, A Dorian. It's a minor scale because there's a flat 3 in there, which helps to indicate that we play a minor chord for chord 2. Okay, let's move up. Note 3 of my major scale in the key of G is a B. I'm not going to play from here, we just discussed that because I don't want to be locked in this zone here. So that B, we unravel it like that, go over to the map, and I'm going to come to fret 7 for my B here. Now the Phrygian mode, which is mode 3 of the major scale, is again a minor scale because relative to my new root note, my B, I have a flat 3rd. So it's another minor scale indicating we play a minor chord with this mode. But a lovely characteristic of the Phrygian mode is we have a flat 2, which gives a nice kind of Spanishy or Middle Eastern sound. So over chord 3 in a sequence, if you can identify what's happening behind the guitar solo, let's say, chord 1, chord 3, you can really just sneakily chuck in that Phrygian note there. Something that is missed when we play pentatonic. Which is why I like to use the modes instead of the pentatonic a lot of the time. Okay, let's run through this mode then. It sounds great. Like I said, it's got a minor 3rd in there, so it's a minor scale. Goes with a minor chord, a B minor in the key of G. And I'm going to start finger 1 on my B minor scale. So finger 1, 2 for our flat 2, and a minor 3rd. So 1, 2, 4. On the next line, we're going to switch that 1, 3, 4. That gives us our 4, 5, flat 6. And then we're going to jump to finger 1 for our minor 7. And back to our octave there with finger 3. First octave, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Now, starting back up with my 2nd octave on finger 3 there. 3 to 1 for that lovely flat 2 again. So I'm going 3, 4, 1, 3, changing string, 1, 2, 4, 1. One more time, nice and slowly through there. We're going 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1. That gives us our Phrygian mode. Number 3, sorted. Okay, so I'm going to have a PDF below that you can use to learn all of these. We're going to learn them in the key of G, but let's just accept another thing now. This is a template, it's a transpositional template, so if we can learn everything in G, we can shift that around to any key, which is so helpful when we're improvising. And I guess also remember this, when we're talking of modes, when I first learned them, it was because I wanted to just understand how to play in a particular key everywhere. And I wanted to be able to pinpoint particular chords within the section I was playing over to really voice and mix with that chord as I felt like I should. And there's certain notes which really characterize those modes. As we've said, major scale, perfect, 1 through to 7. This Dorian mode, it's a minor scale, flat 3, but also a major 6 in there, so it's a bit more interesting. The Phrygian mode, flat 2 with a flat 3, nice and dark sounding. What do we got next? Chord 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be our C in the key of G, and from here we're going to play our Lydian mode. Now this is a major scale essentially, because again I have a major 3rd in there, but we have a sharp 4. Now when I'm talking about numbers, I'm comparing everything to a major scale, sometimes to a minor scale as well, as you've heard me say with the Dorian and the Phrygian, but everything's going to relate back to the major scale. So when I say a major scale with a sharp 4 gives us Lydian, would be my major scale in C. Now I'm going to sharpen the 4th degree. Sounds a bit mysterious again, doesn't it? But it wants to lead somewhere. We've got some dissonance in there. Now this is going to be paired beautifully with a major chord because it's a major scale. We can also expand that if we wish to a quadrad, a major 7 chord. That's what I like to do. So my C major 7, and here's my Lydian mode. I'm going to start with finger 2 again because it's a major scale, and our template is going to be as so. We're going to go 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, adding in that sharp 4 there. 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. I like it, it feels almost unfinished, it wants to lead somewhere else, doesn't it? Let's go through that again with the finger template. So 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. Let's accompany that with our major 7 chord. I'm just going to have a little run with this now, trying to really emphasize that sharp 4 in there, which I think really screams at the difference here, okay? Chord 4 comes up a lot when we're talking about composition or playing over other people's work. This is going to work. Another thing to mention is we don't have to just take each mode and just sit it on top of its chord, if you will. We can play these over anything. They're going to harmonise and have different tonality with different parts of this, and it's just worth playing them over different chords to see what sings true, what works best in different places. There's so many possibilities with this, but I think if we just learn this as a structure in later sessions, we can really start to talk about placement, okay? So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. Major, Dorian, Phrygian, and Lydian. Now, it's difficult to remember the names, you've just got to, all right? I can't come up with a silly rhyme or anything for this. Let's just try and learn these. What's quite nice is if Lydian is number 4, number 5 kind of leads on from that. We now have MIXOLYDIAN. Now, this is a gorgeous mode, used a lot. I think people use it more than they think. It works particularly well over a dominant 7 chord. In chord 5 in my major key, and the key of G is going to be D, and typically can be a D7 chord. So a dominant 7, an interesting chord in itself because it's a major chord with a minor 7 note in there essentially is a good way to think about it. The sound dominates it, a dominant 7, that's the way I've always thought about it. So you can use this with your blues a lot, that's what people do, but also over chord 5 and anything else in the key, but it's going to sing particularly well with this. So this one, as I said, is a major scale, so we're going to start with finger 2. Let's map it out first of all, then I'll show you how we can use it. And we're going to hit fingers 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. That's my flat 7 right there, that 2, 1, 2, 4. The flat 7 latches onto that dominant 7 chord. First octave again, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Let's keep moving. 1, 3, 4. 1, I'll come up there, upper fret to fret 10. 1, 3, 4, go through that again. So I've got to just change my zone slightly, right? My finger zone. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Shifting up. Fingers 1, 3, 4, 1 to finish. So it feels like kind of got this minor movement here. This relates to me a little closer to minor scales, the top end of minor scales anyway. That's where that flat 7, that minor 7 if you will, comes into play. Let's hear how that sounds with this. It just sits so nicely with the flat 7 in that chord there. Not that it has to be played over a dominant 7 chord. If I just play my major chord, one playing over the top in MIXOLYDIAN is going to voice that flat 7 for them, and the two together in ensemble is going to create this lovely flat 7, dominant 7 harmony. It's going to be gorgeous. So what have we got so far? Let's have a little run through. Major in G. Pop to the 2nd degree, the A. Dorian, it's a minor scale with major 6. Shape there to improvise with. Number 3, Phrygian, B, flat 2, which we discussed, sounds great. It's a minor scale with a minor 3rd. Let's go to the 4th degree. 2nd finger, as it's a major scale, works with our finger template. Lydian. Gorgeous. Number 5, as we just discussed, MIXOLYDIAN. Major scale with a flat 7. Alright, so we're nearly there. That's 5 of those done. Study them, study the PDFs, hear how they sound, place them over chords, and have fun improvising. Okay, so now we're going to move up to our minor scale in our key. Okay? Chord or note number 6 is an E. So we have an E minor as our relative minor in the key of G. That's important as well. You hear that phrasing a lot, relative minor. From the 6th degree of your major scale, we find our minor. Let's lay it out on the neck. We're going to come up to fret 12 here for our E. At minor scale, usually something that people know with their major, and then we have to fill in the gaps. So let's run through this one nice and quick. Start with finger 1 on my E. We're going to hit a 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Our first octave there, a minor scale. Minor scale, by the way, if I am comparing everything to a major scale, is a major scale with a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7. It sounds a bit crazy to think about it like that, but that's how I learned all of this. Everything stems from that major scale. How do I adopt and manipulate that major scale to create other scales? And it sounds like an extreme movement to flatten the 3rd, 6th, 7th, but it gives us this minor shape here. And learning things like that helped me adjust my learning for chord building and chord structure and arpeggios and further modes and scales and weird stuff. So it's a good way to think, hopefully. So my minor scale. Finger 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Let's come out of zone. Pop into fret 11 there. I'm going 1, 2, 4, back into zone. 1, 2, 4, 1 to finish on my 12 there. Let's get back through that. E minor, mode number 6 in the key of G. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Out of zone, fret 11 there. 1, 2, 4, back into zone. 1, 2, 4, 1. Really utilising that flat 6 in there because I think that's the kind of saddest note we can get. It's gorgeous. Okay, that brings us to the scariest of them all, the LOCRIAN mode. Now this is going to fall over chord 7. Chord 7 is a diminished chord, or if we're thinking quadrads, it's a minor 7 flat 5, or a half diminished chord. Now this doesn't come up as much, let's think about it, in your normal kind of rock and pop music. But chord 7 it is there, and it's really important. It's used a lot to add some tension to resolve back to chord 1. And in my opinion, it needs to be there to create some more emotion in music. It's got to be placed correctly. But if you want to play lead over that, or you want to adjust your lead playing over a major key from a bit of a wacky point of view, let's go from the 7th degree. It's going to be quite dissonant, maybe a bit clashy at times, but maybe not in a bad way. So this is going to start from F sharp. I'm going to play it up high here, and I'm probably going to do a version low as well because I think it's just easier to see. So I'm starting from my 7th degree, which is an F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's my F sharp. And we're going to be playing, it's a minor scale. Now think about this. This is a minor scale, which already we know is a major scale with a flat 3, 6, and 7. But now we've got a flat 2 in there as well, and a flat 5. So everything's flat in this, apart from the 4. The 4 stays natural. So, goes over our minor 7 flat 5 chord. And it's going to look and sound like this. Now I can just, it's so tempting to just resolve back to chord 1 there. But if you leave that hanging on, the tension is created already. Move it along somewhere else. You're going to leave them wanting more. I gave you a resolve there. I gave in. Okay, so LOCRIAN mode. Here we go. Finger 1, it's a minor scale. We've got a minor 3rd in there and a minor 2. So I'm going to flatten my 2nd. Finger 1, 2, 4. Repeat. 1, 2, 4. Next string, switch that pattern. 1, 3, 4, again. 1, 3, 4. So take a little pause there. This is quite a nice one to learn at first. You've got 2 mirrored shapes there almost. So I'm starting fingers 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1. To finish on that top F sharp. I can feel the tension in that as I play it like that. I'm just going to do a version of it down low here from the fret 2, an octave below, on my F sharp. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1. I mean, you can't help it, can you? Resolve there. But use that in your improvisation. Use that LOCRIAN mode at appropriate moments to build some tension and release back down to here. Okay? Around there as well to help that tension. So let's try to have a little overview already. What we've got is 7 notes of a major scale in the key of G, and from each note we laid them up and down the neck to make it more accessible to give our new shapes, and we're essentially playing the same notes all the way through. Let's just accept that straight away. We're playing the same notes of the major scale, but we're attacking it from a different point of view each time, and we're going to attach those modes to different points of the chord structure. Which brings a whole other point. When we're playing our lead guitar as guitarists, it's so important to understand the sequence that we're playing on, especially if it's something we haven't written. That happens a lot if you're having a jam. Really home in your ear and your eyes and take a look at what's happening with the rest of the ensemble, or the backing track. A lot of backing tracks on YouTube these days will have the chords written up there. Get to know that key, get to know what degree that chord is coming from, and link up your modes with that. I promise your playing will become so much more colourful and more interesting. And then you can start to mix all this together, and later on you start to talk about modal modulation, modal interplay, where you're mixing them all together and changing degrees of them. Again, that's why I think it's so important to understand the numbers involved in this and what's being manipulated each time. Okay, I'm going to do one more run round all the modes, and with a quick exercise which will be to head up your scale. Change my fingering there so I can slide up to the top of my Dorian mode and come down. And now I'm going to go up my Phrygian, down my Lydian, up my MIXOLYDIAN, down my minor scale, up my LOCRIAN, and down my major. That's a great exercise. Up and down, attach them. I'll write all this down in the PDF below. I'm just going to have a little play out with the chords and the modes over the top of them, just to demonstrate the separate parts I like to use. G major. And my Dorian mode over my A minor. Phrygian mode. flat 2, flat 9. Okay, let's go for Lydian. Really using that sharp 4. Let's go for MIXOLYDIAN. I love to voice that dominant 7. E minor. And the dreaded LOCRIAN, which you don't need to dread anymore. Finish up on that G nicely like that. There's so much we can do. I'm going to do a whole lot more sessions on the modes to really get into it. That's a quick overview today. If this is your first time viewing, hit the bell, subscribe. All PDFs or backing tracks are usually on the bottom of the video, so just take a look at that and stay in touch, keep watching. Have a good day. Thank you very much.